Alright, let's get into this, guys. I mean, this is gonna be good. Hi, guys. I just wanted to get some opinions and advice on how to deal with this situation. Context: I have a 5-month-old puppy, and these are our front door neighbors in our apartment complex. Front door neighbors? What the fuck is a front door neighbor? Whatever. We've always had great, friendly, super casual interactions, and they both know our puppy. This is going great. Today, I was taking our puppy out to potty, and when opening the door, I saw our neighbor coming up the stairs. She was holding an open box with what looked like ceramic eggs in one hand. If your neighbor has ceramic eggs in their hands, watch out. She continues, she says, our puppy immediately got excited and wanted to greet her and started jumping and excited peeing on the stairs. Yes, peeing, pissing. The dog started getting really excited and it pissed everywhere. I pulled her back on the leash into the corner and told her no. Okay, she goes on. The neighbor assured me it was okay and started fawning over our puppy, crouching down and petting her with her free hand while saying how big she's gotten. I was in a hurry to get her outside, but didn't want to be rude and pull away from the interaction because the neighbor obviously wanted to greet her. So I let my puppy go close to her as she was indicating was okay. And my cat Remy has entered the chat. That was the door behind me. Don't freak out. Remy's in the room. He'll probably jump up here and knock over my Diet Coke and ruin my ASMR video. Okay, I'm trying to pause. I'm trying to lock in on what is the point of this long story. So from what I've gathered, this person lives in an apartment complex. She has a dog. She's like friendly with a neighbor. She runs into the neighbor in the stairwell, and her neighbor is holding ceramic eggs for some reason in her one hand. And then the dog has peed. The dog has gotten excited and peed. And then the one neighbor with the ceramic eggs assured her that it was okay that the dog got excited and peed. And then I think the dog and the lady with the ceramic eggs, which we don't know why the fuck she's got ceramic eggs, but she does. And now they're all three like kind of hanging out. Okay, let's keep going. It continues. My puppy jumped up again, as she had been doing while the neighbor was crouching down, and knocked the box out of my neighbor's hand. Most of the ceramic eggs fell out of the basket. No. I would say about a handful of eggs broke upon hitting the ground, while a decent amount remained intact. I immediately apologized and helped her pick everything up. I asked her in the moment if I could pay her or do anything to make it right, and I profusely apologized. She told me it was okay and eventually exited the stairs. She seemed super sad, so I followed up with a text message to formally apologize. My plan was to get her and her partner dinner, flowers, and a card to show how bad I felt about this. However, you can see above how she replied. Oh, let's see how she replied. Okay, so now we have some context for these screenshots of text. Okay, I'm gonna read you this text thread. I'm gonna actually put it on the screen too. Okay, she messages her and says, "Hi, blank, this is blank, your neighbor. I feel so bad for what happened. Were those pottery pieces that you made?" Ceramic egg lady replies, "Hi, yeah, they were. I know it This is crazy. This is so bizarre that this is a real interaction. She responds, our poster responds to the really, really mad neighbor. I completely understand why you're upset, and I'm really sorry this happened. I know how much time and care goes into handmade pottery, and I feel awful that my dog caused it to fall. I appreciate you being kind to me about it in the moment, even though I know this is a big loss for you. Still, it's a puppy, and they're in training, and I know we were both engaging with her in the moment since she kept trying to say hi. I never truly would have allowed that interaction to continue if I thought something like this could happen. I want to make this right as best as I can, but I also want to be honest that I'm currently recovering from my accident and won't be out of work for another 2 months. So I realistically can't afford a $900 payment. Would you be open to talking through another solution, like me covering the material cost for a brand new batch, or helping in another way? This is getting so serious. They respond, I appreciate you acknowledging the impact this had, and I do understand your financial situation. I also want to be honest that replacing the materials, which ultimately comes out to a bag of clay, doesn't come close to addressing my actual loss. These were almost finished pieces that represented a lot of time, my limited allotment of studio hours, and inventory for my business. The value of handmade work extends far beyond raw materials, so focusing only on the cost of clay feels dismissive of the actual loss, even though I know that wasn't your intention. It's unfortunate that so many pieces were in the box, but the reality is that this amounted to $900 of damage inventory for my business. I'm open to discussing other solutions, but I don't feel that covering material cost alone is fair. This is such a dilemma. They respond back, I really do want to make this right. I mean that sincerely. I want to be honest about the full picture because I think it matters for finding something fair. I was actively trying to pull my dog back and was in the corner when you crouched down, kept engaging, and told me it was okay. I took that as a cue that the interaction was totally fine. I never would have let it continue if I thought there was any risk, especially with something that valuable in your hands. I would have never let it get that close to you. Blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying this to deflect. I'm saying it because I genuinely believe this was an accident. I'm still willing to contribute towards making this right. I also don't mean to sound dismissive. This is such a long thread. They responded, I absolutely agree that this was an accident. I think we can all fucking agree it's an accident. Excuse my French. It's an accident, yes. How are you guys gonna reach a solution is what we're all wondering. Of course you had no way to know the value of the work in my hand. I think covering what it will actually cost me to replace the pieces is fair. I work out of a community studio and it took me 2 weeks to make the pieces, plus a bag of clay. 2 weeks of studio time and clay totals $250. Okay, they're landing on a dollar amount now. This doesn't include the 18 hours of my time spent making them. Who is spending 18 hours making eggs? Okay, so they've established a reasonable resolution of $250. Comment below the YouTube video. Tell me if you think that's fair. They responded, I do feel like $250 is a bit high. For me, especially considering the circumstances I'm in. And that was an accident. This person is like, I will do anything to make it right. Like, I totally, want to take you out to dinner, buy you flowers, I'll do anything to make it right. And they're like, okay, $250. And they're like, I'll do anything else to make it right. like, okay, 250. And then they're like, what about 150? It's crazy to me. I'll need to ask Blink to help me cover it since I haven't been able to work for over a month. Gosh, what a just needy little, incompetent little person here. This person, I'm starting to side with the egg lady, because now they're saying that amount is completely taking your circumstances into account. This is work for me. This is my job. It's not a hobby. I no longer have almost $1,000 of product to sell that I need to remake. You feeling like 150 is fair for your part when I'd be out 100 plus 18 hours of my time is a bit wild and honestly insulting. $250 is less than 30% of retail value of my work. Asking for 30% is more than reasonable when it was your dog that caused the box to fall. Holy cow. Okay, that's the end of the text. Let's go down and see what she says at the end. Just to kind of take in, pause and take into account everything we've experienced. It's a nuanced situation. Look at Remy. I feel like the fact that this lady was willing to text her neighbor and apologize and want to make things right lets me know that she's in the fault. Like, she's at fault for this. It seems like she knows that her dog really effed up, because if it was really if she felt like it was just truly an accident, you wouldn't be typing out giant messages of how can I make this right? That just shows me there's some guilt there, And honestly, control your dog, lady. That's one of my biggest pet peeves, is when I'm out in public minding my own business, and then there's somebody with a dog, and the dog jumps on me, or gets its snot on my shorts, or I don't want an unwanted interaction with the dog. And so the fact that you're cowering away in a corner trying to hold back your dog just shows that you don't have control of your dog. You shouldn't be needing to cower in a corner when your neighbor's walking by. This lady with her ceramic eggs, as dumb as that is to have, it's not dumb, it's just really random to have ceramic eggs and that be your livelihood, and your sole income is based off these ceramic eggs. But I could see how if my neighbor was their dog was spazzing out, I would try and be oh no, it's okay. I'm gonna just walk by you, it's okay. And if the dog attacked me, and then I dropped my grandma's precious vase and it shattered, we would have a situation on our hands, is all I'm saying. Let's conclude this thread. I can't believe this is the first thing out the gate that we're stumbling upon. Okay. This person concludes, I feel frustrated because I had known the value of what she was holding. If I had known, she said, I feel frustrated because if I had known the value of what she was holding, I would have refused to let my puppy near her, even if my neighbor insisted on greeting her. She knew the value of what she had, saw our puppy's unruly behavior, and still continued to facilitate a long interaction with her. I also feel like her response of haggling with me over the amount I'm able to contribute right now is inappropriate. I don't know how I should respond, or if I should just leave it alone. I also never insinuated that pottery was just a hobby, or was flippant about this. I think it's okay that you assumed ceramic eggs were not that valuable. That's just a note. Anyways, I treated it seriously and have honestly felt stressed about it all day because I know pottery is her career. It felt to me like she was escalating the conversation rather than trying to work toward a reasonable solution, especially when we had already verbally sorted things through at the time of the incident. Wow. Oh my gosh. I mean, it just sounds like, just a truly unfortunate situation. Let's see what the comments say. Please be something great. People are making fun of her for redacting the dog's name, which is kind of silly. This person said, I'm struggling to understand why anyone would try to greet an obviously excited puppy one-handed with almost $1,000 worth of items in their other hand. People can say you're reckless for letting the pup approach her, but you tried to stop it. She reinforced that it was okay, and then the pup knocked all the stuff out of her hand like, duh. Anyone that knows anything about dogs can see that was going to happen from a mile away. That being said, these texts are kind of cringe. You basically offered to make it up to her and then declined what she asked for. That's where I think this interaction went downhill. I would pay the $250 to avoid awkwardness since this is your neighbor. That's a great analysis. I mean, yeah, they're both kind of at fault here. You shouldn't be, holding $1,000 worth of work and then pet a ravenous dog. And then you shouldn't text them and saying, I want to make things right. And then they're like, okay, $250. And then you're like, anything else? Any other options here? Like, they're both kind of silly. This is the top comment. She shouldn't have engaged with the puppy while she was holding something valuable. Doesn't sound like you let the dog loose at her, but that she actively encouraged the puppy over, even though she knew herself she was holding something valuable. Frankly, I do think in large part that's on her. However, you also asked what you could do and offered to pay something. She came down a lot in price. Like, not even half, but to a quarter of the price. Then you haggled even more. If you felt you shouldn't have to and or couldn't afford to, you should have not offered to compensate her in the first place. So freaking accurate. Honestly, I think if you want to keep a good or at least civil relationship, just pay the $250. She should not have called an obviously excited puppy over while holding something breakable and expensive, but you also can't offer repeatedly to compensate and then be like, nah, actually, I don't want you to take me up on it. Nah, actually, I didn't want you to take me up on it. It's crazy. Oh my gosh, that's really freaking funny. What a little predicament these people found themselves in. I was completely on your side until you asked what would be reasonable. She made a large concession, and then you said that's not reasonable. You absolutely should have said, okay,